Hello, Royalers. Welcome to another great episode of Royal Black and Elite. And today is election day. So I thought it a great time to put out one of my scandal videos of scandals and politicians. And boy, do I have some doozies for you today. Well, I'm Lady T. I'm a social historian and author of Royal Black and Elite. And as always, I want to thank you all for going out and buying the book on Amazon, for liking, sharing, and subscribing. We're almost at 2,000 subscribers, y'all. Tell your friends about me. Tell your teachers, students, anybody that you know who likes Black history and who wants to learn more about the Royal Black and Elite. And it is politics season. As I said the other day on my video, they're asking you to vote. And I want to point out to you some politicians. Whew, let me tell you. Let's start with Eric Leroy Adams. Eric is the 110th mayor of New York. He was elected in January 2022, and he used to be a transit cop, and he was also a police officer for the city as well for 20 years. And he retired to become the mayor. And let me tell you, he might have should have stayed retired because he got indicted. He got indicted this year for taking money from foreign nationals. So it was for bribery. He was charged with bribery, and he received benefits like trips and gifts. And you know what happens then. Now listen, they said they had been investigating this man for 10 years, for 10 years, but they never charged him until some people say that he told the truth about what was happening with the migrant crisis. As you know, my home state of Texas have been sending migrants to New York and Chicago, and they have not liked it very much. But they don't understand how we live here, having to put up with it as well. So he spoke out against the administration, and he's been in trouble ever since. If he is found guilty, he could face up to 20 years in prison. He was taking straw donations, going to fancy restaurants. I mean, it's just mind blowing how these people throw their careers away for barely anything at all. And he gave the key of the city to P. Diddy. So, Mayor Adams is facing some trouble. Now, from New York, we move to the Crescent City and Mayor Latoya Cantrell of New Orleans. And she's been going through it, y'all. She is allegedly spending time on taxpayer dollars with her boyfriend named Jeffrey Vappy, allegedly. Now, we don't know if it's true or not, but I can say that he was recently indicted for stealing overtime pay and just a lot of charges, y'all. He was just um, tied to her, and they said he was lying on his timesheets. His wife sued. It's been a lot of drama, y'all. They were using a city apartment, but most recently, Randy Farrell, this is him, and he was indicted, and he is very much tied closely to Miss Latoya. So he was indicted on a conspiracy to commit fraud, 19 counts of wire fraud, one count of conspiracy to commit honest services fraud, and 3 counts of honest services fraud. So he provided phones, steak dinners, y'all, New Orleans Saints tickets for her and her quote unquote allegedly boyfriend. Now, he wanted Cantrell to fire a woman named Jennifer Cecil because Miss Cecil had reported Farrell's shady dealings, and he was an inspector, to the inspector general. Well, lo and behold, she gets fired, he gets money, and it's all a bunch of drama. So I'll keep my eye on this story. I'm suspecting perhaps there may be an indictment coming down for her pretty soon. All behind some New Orleans Saints tickets. Now we go to Chicago and Mayor Brandon Johnson. He was elected to office in 2023, and he has promptly become one of the most hated mayors in all of this country. He really smug, and when I see him talking to the people on YouTube, and they're telling him, "Hey, man, you can't raise our taxes, and you taking our money and doing wrong with it." he just is very condescending. He just thinks he's well, he just appears to think he's the smartest man in the room, and I'm basing that on how he talks to the people. And let me tell you, they had Lori Lightfoot before him. I bet they wish they had Lori back because he been clowning. Basically, he fired the whole with the whole school board quit because he was trying to pressure them. 7 people, y'all, pressure them to fire the superintendent. The superintendent's name is Pedro Martinez, and he wants them to fire him because he won't take out. Pedro won't take out this loan for like billions of dollars to play the teachers who want this enormous raise. Well, y'all, Chicago lagging behind in education. So why should they get all these raises and drive the budget all the way into the ground? They're already in debt behind all of the migrants. So he's doing a terrible job at navigating the migrants, navigating the school board. Um, it's just been a big old mess. And you know, the worst part, the man that he appointed to take over the school board after the 7 people quit, y'all, his name is Reverend Mitchell Johnson. Well, I don't even know if they even paid any attention to him, his background, or anything, because it come to find out he has all of these anti-Semitic views. You know, he's known for being rude and just all kinds of things. So he picked the wrong person for that job, which lets me know that you know he just has bad uh, instincts where politics are concerned. Is he really concerned about the people? They don't feel like it. So he's had a tough time, and I suspect that be hearing more about Brandon Johnson real soon. Now we head down to the state of Georgia, the Peach State. I want you to meet Sheila Robertson, a successful businesswoman and former assistant city attorney and police officer in Atlanta. Now, Sheila, she was just sentenced to federal prison in June for stealing $15 million in PPP loans. She was sentenced to 7 years in prison at 62 years old, y'all. Now, listen at the terms of her crime, her sentence. So I would say if you commit a crime in Georgia, like Young Thug, like her, you might want to do it there because she only has to serve 3 months in lockup and then 3 years of supervised release. So that's what her sentence was. She negotiated. Not too bad for stealing $15 million from the taxpayers of Georgia. But these are the people they elect, and these are the laws and the sentences they give out. So she was convicted by a jury in December the 2023 on 1 count of conspiracy to commit wire fraud, 3 counts of wire fraud, and 1 count of money laundering. Y'all, she purchased luxury items like this pink contraption you see here, and she was already a wealthy money. She already had big contracts with the city of Atlanta. So it was no reason for her to steal $15 million of taxpayers' money. But more power to her. I mean, she hardly got in any trouble at all. And after her homegirl Chandra Norton turned on her, she had to go ahead and cop that deal. So Sheila Robertson, walking around here free after stealing $15 million in a PPP loan. Now we go to DC. I'm gonna say he's an honorable mention. His name is Council Member Trayon White. Look at him getting caught on camera taking money. He was secretly recorded taking money equaling about $156,000 allegedly that he took from undercover agents for helping them out a little bit by providing them with perks and things like that for programs that he had control over the money. They were providing violent intervention programs, and he would get the money for them, and then they would give him a kickback. So he's accused of using his position to pressure employees of the DC Office of Neighborhood Safety and Engagement and the DC Department of Youth Rehabilitation Services to extend several contracts. So they got him on tape. He only stole $156,000. We'll see if he gets a sweetheart deal like these other people did, but on video, Y'all, he was in control of like $5 million, and they've been investigating him for like 5 years. So they really gave him an opportunity to hang himself before they arrested him. And here's another honorable mention. His name is Brandon King, and he is the mayor of East Cleveland. Y'all, he is just a mess. Look at him inside of the mayor's suite office, where they do business, smoking and drinking. So he was indicted, right? Because he been stealing money, making contracts and sharing the money with his family members and with himself, his own company, allegedly. So he was indicted just recently on, let me see, 2, 8, 9, like 10 charges, from false statements to unlawful interest in public contracts. He could be facing around 7 years. I mean, excuse me. He can't hold office for 7 years if he is found guilty. He could be facing around 20 years in prison if he found guilty on all of these. And he's been the mayor since 2016. So a hot mess in East Cleveland and around that whole Ohio, Illinois area. So I saved the one y'all really been waiting on for last. And she's also one who's just been clowning. Many people have covered her story, so I'm not going to say much. I'm just going to show a picture, and y'all going to know who she is immediately. Mayor Tiffany Henyard. And Tiffany's facing all kinds of trouble in her little city of Dalton and Thornton Townships, where she serves as mayor and she serves as city supervisor. People around her orbit, too, have been indicted. We're waiting to see what's going to happen to Tiffany. There are many millions of dollars in debt, and she is known as the City Girl Mayor. Very, very non demure. Given how long they investigated the other people, it may take just as long to investigate her. But we're going to keep our eye on this story because it keeps on giving. I hope y'all enjoyed today's show. Y'all go out today and vote, vote, vote. Remember, today is a very important day. And even though we pick some lemons sometimes, you still have to go vote. Thank you for subscribing, liking, and sharing. I hope you enjoyed the show. And I'll see you on another great episode of Royal Black and Elite.